All right, welcome back to Construction Hot Takes. So we got a lot of good feedback on our agree disagree segments that we did.
That was fun.
So we're gonna do it again. And to start us off, we're gonna take our neutrals and throw them out.
Nobody wants to be neutral here.
No neutrals allowed.
We're not neutral people here.
All right. So our producer is gonna read off some statements. We're either going to agree, disagree, and then take turns defending our positions. What is it, 30 seconds we get up front?
Yeah.
And then we can go a little deeper. And I'm going to elect that Greg gets to go first.
Okay.
On the 30 seconds. And then Jeff, you'll get to go on the second round.
All right.
And so on and so forth.
So on and so forth.
Okay.
All right. What's
go.
What's the first statement?
Most construction delays are communication failures, not labor shortages. Most construction delays are communication failures, not labor shortages. 3, 2, 1, show.
Really?
Ooh, I'm glad Greg's
I'm going first.
Yeah, me too.
It worked out perfectly. So I think that partially is true.
Oh no! Wait a minute. You're not allowed to do that.
But I've
You can't play
when
both
I
sides.
chose my answer, I had a reason. I think that is partially true. I think that if there are delays, it's going to be because there are partly issues, with things like how are things being communicated. But there are lots of other things. You can't just break it down into it's either this or that. There's weather delays, there's team delays, there's bad plan delays, there's bad client delays, there's bad sub delays. It is too broad of a thing to try to say a delay is only this or that. And that's why, I said that because I think it's partially true, but it's broader than that.
I strongly agree that I hung on the word most.
Okay.
Most are due to bad communication. I can say that with absolute confidence because I was out there in the field poorly communicating. And know that a lot of those delays were the result of a bad schedule, or I did not communicate it with my trade partner, or vice versa. Maybe there was a labor shortage in there somewhere, but I would contend that most are the fact that we're not communicating well.
Now I've had over a minute to reflect on this. So this is great.
You can't change your vote, can you? Can you change your mind?
I got 30
this
seconds.
game?
I was going to say, I actually see both sides of this. The way the question was phrased, if I heard it right, was construction delays are based on communication or labor shortages. Those are the two options. And I think
And
maybe
most
there's...
were
That was my
communication.
point.
And there's
that
more than those
so many
two.
layers, yeah.
But based on those two options, I strongly agreed that communication is more oftentimes the culprit than I didn't have enough people to get the work done. And some of that could be I didn't even communicate to my office that I needed more people.
Well, I was going to say that I could
That
take
have
the
been an
communication.
internal communication thing. It could have been that the general contractor didn't communicate the schedule very well.
I could take that communication all the way down to yes.
Sure.
You and I had a great conversation about how.
But I didn't do anything about
You might could
it.
use a few more guys, and you even agreed with me.
And then I didn't do anything
And
about
you
it.
didn't do anything about it.
Like my boss, or I communicated to my boss and he didn't
Who
hear
said
me.
pound sand?
Yeah.
What guys?
What guys?
What
I don't
we
have any more guys.
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to
Work
add
harder.
too, just as a follow-up to that, we've all seen projects where you can throw as many guys as you want on it. It's not going to matter. You might get a
what's
little
that
bit
phrase?
of time, but come on.
A pregnant lady can't have, what is that?
Good.
You can't have a baby in 1 month if you have 9 women.
Yeah,
Like it still takes 1 woman 9 months. Like doesn't matter how many bodies you throw at it. It's not going to get done any faster.
Yep.
They can only stack.
But
up
it's
so
going to
much.
cost more, and it's
Yes.
and that's a whole and that's a
been down that
whole
road
other
too.
right. We all have, right? So that's why, I definitely think that there's factors. To
I could even say that the communication could. We've talked about it kind of between trade partners and the GC, but I could say let's turn that upstream to the client and say they haven't provided us worthwhile documents, which has created a whole lot of questions and a whole lot of slowdown,
Yeah.
which is poor communication. Or the client is pushing on the general contractor to accelerate, and the general contractor's not doing a good job of defending against an acceleration, or communicating that downstream, or agreeing to it and forgetting to tell you about it.
Yeah.
It could happen. I could go up and down the line.
Oh, sure. All right.
All right.
All right,
Next.
that was a good one. What's the next one? What's number 2?
If your project depends on one superstar PM, your company is broken. If your project depends on one superstar PM, your company is broken. 3, 2, 1, show.
Sweet.
Okay, good.
Okay. I'm 100% going to reframe this question.
Yeah, I think you have to.
I don't think it's if the project has a superstar, your company's broken. I am reframing as if your company has one superstar project manager, your company is broken. And I disagree with that. I don't know broken is the right term. So I guess I'm questioning the statement twice.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if broken is the right answer, so that's why I'm disagreeing with it. I think if you have a superstar PM, count your lucky stars. Having a good PM is a great way to grow the business and make profit. Make profit on the projects you have. Just having one doesn't mean that thing's broken. It could mean you're in a growth cycle. It could mean it's as big as you want to get. I could think of 100 reasons why that's not a problem.
All right, so I'm also I had to play with it. I like what you said. If your company depends on one superstar PM, then your company is broken.
Mm-hmm.
I tended to agree with that statement. I think, if it's a team sport,
Okay.
like Michael Jordan still had teammates and they
Scotty.
won together, right?
Yeah.
Even though he might have been the lead, he was the superstar project manager. He had to have a cast of supporting actors that could do their jobs well. And if the question is meant to say, like, if your company doesn't survive, if that guy leaves or that gal leaves, then yeah, you've got something dysfunctional in your company.
Okay.
You should be able to withstand anybody leaving. Your company should be resilient enough and your team should be strong enough that if one person leaves, the whole company doesn't fall apart. And similarly, if your project is dependent on one superstar person on that project and the project will fail if that person leaves, then there's something dysfunctional there too. That was kind of my thinking.
So similar to that, the reason that I agreed with it, I'll be a little more pragmatic about it. I took the tack that it was saying if you have one superstar, PM in your company, then your company's broken, because I don't know too many successful companies who are only doing one project at a time. Mm-hmm. And that means if you only have one that you're calling superstar, by context, everyone else is less than a superstar. Try having one great project and having 8 projects that are horribly failing.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is a level of brokenness, because I wouldn't want to say, I've got one great one. And yeah, you're lucky if you have one. But if you have 5 that aren't so great,
I'd rather have a team of goods than one superstar.
I'd rather have 5 goods than one superstar
Solids,
and 4
right?
they don't know what they're
Just
doing.
5 that you can count on.
Yeah.
They're solid.
Exactly.
You can build a business on that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Next.
The best supers usually hate corporate. The best supers usually hate corporate. 3, 2, 1, show.
I get to go first this time.
Okay, great.
All right, so I'm basing this on the 20 plus years of my career that I worked with or for or managed superintendents. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't think they hated. I think they had some level of disdain for the office and the corporate side. They were like, look, they don't really know what's going on here day to day on the field. And I do, and I know they have all these great initiatives, but we have a job to build. And they were very much focused on getting the work done and with an eye for safety, let's say. But they didn't really care so much about what was going on the company picnic or on the website or what the accounting folks were doing. They were there to make sure the job got built.
I'm not 100% sure I understand your answer based on the question. Read the question again. You agreed with it.
I agreed that he said most hate corporate. And I said if I reframed it as more like disdain or didn't really care about,
agree with that.
I agree with that they don't really care what's going on at corporate. They're focused on building the job.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll accept your answer then.
Oh,
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the validation.
I disagreed with that kind of exactly the other side of that, which is one, hate's too strong of a word. I've been around supers my whole life. I was just with a client this week with some great superintendents who want to be left alone. They want to do their work because they know more than everyone in the business. It was a civil company, and in that part of the country, you cannot become a superintendent. Just how it works. You do 10 years of foreman, 10 years of junior super, and you don't get a senior super title for 20 years in that civil world. Those guys know what they're doing, and they just want to be left alone. But
This was,
Maine.
Maine.
Oh,
up in
Northeast,
Maine.
yep.
For the Maine DOT. But they know that their bread is buttered on what side. They know they have to get paid by the office. They know they have to, have their paperwork in the office. They know they need their bonuses from the office. So I definitely think that's too strong a word to say hate. And I definitely think that they're part of the team, but they're a little bit off to the side.
Yeah, I think I'm actually, the reason I asked about the way you framed that, because it felt like what I was thinking, and I agree with you. It's a pretty strong word. Also, again, I pick one word and it's like, well, most superintendents hate corporate or whatever. I agree with both of you, actually. I disagree that your, however it was worded, you can there are superintendents out there, because they worked for me or with me, that we're good company men, but you're absolutely right. They generally just like, can we just build this job?
Just let me do my work and stop bothering me.
I do not need the bells and whistles. I do not need the balloons. I would like to just organize this project.
Heck, we work with superintendents who don't even want to use their email, but they know how to build a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're saying that in 2026, but it's true.
It is true.
Still not using email.
Yeah. No, I don't. I have somebody print them out for me so I can read them.
Oh my.
I
know. It's true though.
In the last 12 months.
That's funny.
Well, I have a funny story to tell you about a safety director that I worked with a few weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm gonna pause this. You're gonna love this one. This is good. The audience will love this, I think. So
Don't use names.
I won't use any names. I'm in a client workshop and I'm talking to the director of safety for this company, and they have, call it 100 employees in the field, and they are a steel erection company. And we're talking about safety precautions. We're talking about, safety compliance, not only doing your JHAs and your PTPs, but we're talking about wearing your PPE, tying off, hard hats, glove policies, steel-toe boots, all that stuff. And he's saying he's having a hard time getting, the field people to be consistent with their paperwork. He still goes out to job sites every once in a while and catches people without PPE. And, as I heard years ago from some comedian, I made the analogy, well, it's like people who ride motorcycles without helmets in states that allow that. Like, I can't protect the brain and it isn't willing to protect itself. We've talked about this in our safety episode. Right. He looked me dead in the eye and he goes, oh, I don't wear a helmet when I ride my Harley.
Oh my.
And I went, why not? Wait, you're telling me you're the director, you're the head of safety.
Is that what you're telling me?
Why don't you wear a helmet when you ride your Harley? And he said he had two reasons, which were I'm worth more dead than alive to my family.
Okay.
Was one. And then the other one was because I don't want to wind up in some in-between paralyzed state. I'd rather just die on the bike than wind up in a wheelchair eating through a straw for the rest of my life.
God, what a fatalistic
right.
To which I said, I don't know if I have any. You completely caught me off guard. I have no idea what to say to you next. I said that out loud to him. I'm like, I'm just going to change the topic and move on.
Yeah,
but I was like, I've
said.
never met a safety director who tries to force people to wear hard hats on a job site, but won't wear a helmet on a motorcycle. I was shocked.
Yeah, I don't know how you reconcile that. That's funny.
If anybody has any comments or thoughts about how you would have responded, please let us know in the comments on this.
Yeah.
Because that was like, I don't get caught off guard very often. I thought he would buy right into that, and I knew he was a bike guy, but nope, he 180'd me.
I would feel better about that if he said, but I make them wear hard hats unless they come to me and tell me that they feel exactly the same way that I do, because that's the whole point of a hard hat, is to keep you from getting a traumatic brain injury, let's say.
Yes.
If some worker feels like that guy does,
If he feels like he's worth more dead than alive, I'm going to send him for
I don't want him on my
counseling.
job.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
I
want
was-
him on
I
my
was thinking the
job, but
same
I'm
thing.
saying like
He's getting counseling.
that's crazy.
It is Mental Health Awareness Month in construction, isn't it?
That's so interesting.
Isn't every month Mental Health Awareness Month in construction
Does
now?
seem like it is.
should be. Yes. All right.
All right.
Back to the segment. Question number 4. Greg, you're back
coming
up.
A bad handoff between estimating and operations kills projects. A bad handoff between estimating and operations kills projects. 3, 2, 1, show.
Okay. So I added the strongly, I knew we were going to agree on this because this is a very important point. And a lot of the work that we do at Ascent Consulting is when we build process for people, there's always a handoff meeting. And I'm constantly shocked when people don't have a handoff meeting or they have it and they don't pass on the right level of information. So I said strongly agree because I don't necessarily think it's the most important thing, but when you are after you've won a job and the estimator has the most knowledge about that job at that point, the only way to get the team set up for success is at the very beginning before you start. And the way to do that is a really well organized with an agenda, with a checklist, I don't care what you need. Hand it off so that you are set up for success. And if you don't do that, people are guessing. And that is a dangerous way to roll into a project.
So I agreed because I actually debated this a little bit. I went ahead and decided I agree because I do think it's critically important for exactly what you just said. That that point in time when you have that amount of information, can it kill a project? Yes. And this is where I debated a little bit. I was like, but there's possibility it could be saved. You have a good project manager, digs in, figures it out. It was a good estimate to begin with. You just didn't have the handoff. So
it might not kill it, because I was going to say that. Kill's a strong word there too. It might not kill it, but it's ill.
Sure.
It's not fully healthy. Maybe the project's not dead, but you're not kind of.
I answered agree because strictly on principle of that it is a best practice. You should absolutely do it.
Yeah.
And the best information should get passed along.
Yeah, I don't know that I have much else to add. I agreed with both the things that you said. I said agree instead of strongly just because I've been handed jobs with very little handoff. Like the estimator
too.
left,
Yeah.
and then there wasn't anybody. I just got a book full of data, and I had to go sort through it myself.
Was it really full?
It was, and I had to figure out what was used.
Usually when I get handed, it's not full. That's the problem.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, so I think it's a golden opportunity for that knowledge transfer and to really set the project up for success. Does it automatically kill a project? But not by any means.
Right.
But it does make it a lot easier if there's a robust and thorough handoff.
And I think there's one caveat. If you're estimating, if your estimator who estimated the job, if you have a culture at your company where that estimator stays involved for a long time, that's fine. You can go to them. But if your culture is where that estimator leaves you and goes back to his or her desk and puts his head back down because he has to.
He's got 5 more bids. This
8 other
afternoon.
jobs that have to bid out, and you lose access to that person because they're busy doing something else. You've lost that opportunity to have that information. So for me, it's even more important depending on how your estimating team operates.
The big companies I worked at, it was standard practice that everybody got together at least for like a half a day to do a knowledge transfer and walk through the job. And,
Exactly.
And because they always wanted to set it up for the most success for not just the project team, but for the company.
For the company.
Like why we can avoid a whole bunch of stuff downstream if we just spend a little bit of time up front making sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be like missing information or anything. It could just be, look, you think about a thing a certain way. Doesn't make it wrong. It's just different than the way I was thinking about it. Spend a few minutes talking about like, oh, well, I see you put it there, not there.
Yeah.
Got it.
Great.
And also as a trade contractor, there's means and methods. This is how I envisioned it was going to be done. You could build it a different way with different materials, and that might cost more or less. But explaining how it was estimated is always valuable.
We
for the
talked
people
about
who are
this
buying
recently
it.
with a
Yeah.
client that I did my handoff meetings with a little bit of a twist where I had the project team present it back to estimating and senior leadership
Oh, I've seen that before. I like that, actually.
as a means to you're the estimator, you're sitting there listening to the project manager who maybe you had a little bit of a conversation, but you're going, he's telling it back to you from what you gave him, the information you gave him. You gave him a sheet of music and he's playing it back to you. And
when
if
there's
does
a bad
it sound
note,
right?
you can tell,
does
right?
It sound? Wait a minute. What
Instantly,
are you talking about?
can tell it's off. I like that.
He didn't see that. He didn't understand that. So that's why I like to do it that way when I was doing those.
I like that. I might start incorporating that into some of my suggestions for what to do in a handoff
There you
meeting.
go. I like that too.
Supers using AI will replace supers who don't. Supers using AI will replace supers who don't. 3, 2, 1, show.
Oh, maybe not so controversial.
Okay. It's your turn. It's your turn to go first.
I'll go
Oh, no,
first.
I did that one because
You can go.
Oh, is it me?
the
Oh,
estimate you.
I thought, okay. Wow, I missed a turn there, or a cycle. This feels like AI is not going to take your job, but the guy who understands AI is going to take your job type of a thing. So I think that a superintendent that generally embraces technology, which we mentioned recently that still is a challenge sometimes, embraces the idea that they can leverage technology, in this case AI, to maybe help them project labor productivity or schedule analysis, things like that. I think that is the future. I don't know if it's the near future, but I think it is the future. So I agreed because I think it's adapt or die. Eventually, that's gonna be the case.
Okay. I disagreed because I think people who know how to build and lead will never not have a job, never not have a place in construction, whether they're using AI voluntarily or it's being forced on them. If the company is using it, they may not have to do it themselves. But I think, superintendent, really, when you think, what does a superintendent do? They are a leader of people and they are a coordinator of activities, and they are the people who can see a little bit into the future and help make good choices for the job site. I think that skill doesn't require AI to have a job.
I think that's a great point. I agreed. I was just going to circle back. I was a little more logical about it. I think the way the industry's going, AI is just what's coming. It's going to be so prevalent that as the older generation of supers, retire and move on, a younger generation is going to be using AI the way that we currently use the internet. It won't even be a choice. So if you choose not to use it in lieu of having it available to use, I can't imagine that you could do that job 5-10 years from now.
25 years ago, we could have said superintendents who don't use email will never have a job, will have jobs in the future, and yet we just said it's 2026 and we know superintendents who don't use email still.
Well, and I was going to make that point. I was going to say, imagine saying 25 years ago, a superintendent who doesn't use a cell phone, because that didn't exist, right? Mm-hmm. A phone in your hand in the field, or a laptop in the field where you can look at something at your truck. We'd be like, well, that's okay. Now you could not have a cell phone. If you're not using email, you're taking photos and you're taking calls from your guys all day long. Mm-hmm. I think that AI is the same kind of, right, you're texting all day long. I think that AI is the same kind of thing. We don't even know how it's going to be used yet. It'll just be everywhere. Right. And someone who kind of rails against it would be like someone saying, I don't need a cell phone on the job site.
You make a good point, Adam, though, that this industry, there's tons of examples in our careers of, good builders. Maybe they hate corporate. Maybe they push against technology.
Maybe they just want to be left alone.
Maybe they just want to be left alone. But, a good builder is hard to find sometimes. And there's a finite resource. Mm-hmm. So.
Hey, producer Josh here. 3 things to walk away with. First, when a job slips, look at the communication before you blame labor. Most delays trace back to something that didn't get said. Second, on your next job, run an actual handoff meeting with an agenda and a checklist, while the estimator still has it all in their head. That handoff is where margin quietly disappears. And third, ask yourself the hard question. If your best PM walked out tomorrow, would the company survive? If the honest answer is no, you don't have a superstar problem, you have a bench problem. Build the team, not the dependency.